Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ulina for PBI B. Now I want to read in the text. The title of text is Everyday Life in the Soviet Union, the Shopping Runaround. The author, Heather Smith, was head of the New York Times office in Moscow from 1971 to 1974. The following passage is adapted from Mr. Smith's book, The Russian, which was published in 1976 by Quadrantule, the New York Times Book Company. The first, I had heard about customer shortages before going to Moscow, but only we but only when we began to shop there did the Russian customer problem really have meaning for me. Customer the word overweight in line, but Soviet lines have a special quality all their own. Typically, the Soviet women spend 2 hours a day in line, 7 days a week. Personally, I have known of people who stood in line 90 minutes to buy 4 pineapple and 3.5 hours to buy 3 large heads of cabbage, only to find the cabbage were gone as they approached the front of the line. Lines can run from a few yards to nearly a mile. Some friends of ours watching a line of people in Moscow signing up to buy runs. The line lasts 2 days and nights and run for across also an apartment development. Too, in spite of all of this, the natural reaction of a Russian woman when she see a line forming is to get in it immediately, even before she know what is being sold. However, Soviet lines are more fluid than they appear. In most stores, for example, shopper must stand in not one but three lines for any purchase. The first, to select a purchase and find out its price. The second, to pay a cashier somewhere else in the store and get a receipt. And the third, to go pick up the purchase and turn in the receipt. 3. But in a dairy store one morning, I found out that the game is was simple and more complex than that. I went I went in to buy some cheese, butter, and Bologna sauce, which were in three separate departments, each with its own line, 9 lines. 4. Rather quickly though, I noticed that experienced shopper were skipping the first stage. They knew what most items cost, so they went directly to the that too. Then I went to the cheese line, the longest, probably 20 people, to get the worst over with first. I was in line less than a minute when the woman informed of asking me to help her place. She darted off to the butter and milk line. The cheese line was moving so slowly that she got her butter and milk and returned it before we had exchanged 3 feet and 3 feet. I decided to take the risk too, and I got back with my butter line. The cheese line was still inching along. 5. Then it suddenly occurred to me that all over the store people were getting into line, holding place, lying, returning. Everyone was using the cheese line as home base. That was why it was barely moving. It kept expanding in the middle. So I got the man behind me to hold my place, and I went off to buy my Bologna. Once again, it works. It took me 22 minutes to buy butter, sauce, and cheese, but instead of being furious, I felt as if I had beaten the system. 6. This competitive shopping gives an atmosphere of tension to Russian life. People burst into store and bump into each other with face set in combative expression. You have to understand, said the kind gray-haired person, that for as long as we can remember, shopping has been a struggle. Life is a struggle. 7. There is hardly any effective advertising to help shopper American complain about the constant commercial in the United States, but they might reconsider if they were exposed to the customer blackout in Russia. A type a typical Soviet and might be if you want to live to a ripe old age and be beautiful, mothers, modest, so and truthful during tea. Most newspapers publish without ends. The shopper has no handy yellow page or daily newspaper, supermarket, or department store as to help her decide where to shop. 8. Bribery is widespread. Low paid $80 to $20 monthly. Sales, sales, sales slick. Take a portion of attractive item and sell them secretly to regular customers who have either left a brief in advance or can be counted on to pay a high price on delivery. 10 to 15 ruble on a 16 ruble raincoat is standard. In 1976, 2 ruble was equivalent to $132. 9. And the last. So common is this practice that the Soviet press is always complaining about it, but it doesn't do any good. Crocodile. To Soviet humor magazine once showed a department store employee promotion some newly arrived item. Their customer in the leather goods department 500 important women purses have been received. 450 of them have been booked by store employees. 49 are under the counter and have been ordered in advance for friends. One purse is in the display window. We invite you to visit the leather department to buy this purse. I think this is enough. Thank you so much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.